My first guest tonight is an Emmy and Tony Award-winning actor and writer you know from his work in Schmigadoon, The Good Wife, X2, X-Men United, and Cabaret on Broadway. He returns as the host of The Traitors. New episodes of the 4th season premiere Thursdays on Peacock. Let's take a look.
The tear-stained pages of Traitors' history are filled with the blood of the innocent at this table. And what a triumph it would be if you caught a traitor on the opening page. Look around you. Who at the table has your back? And who would sooner stab you in it?
Please welcome back to the show our good friend Alan Cumming, everybody. You know, I watched that clip and all I can think is I wish you were having more fun doing it.
It's hilarious, isn't it?
It's just, I mean, I don't want to say it's like the part you were born to play, but it's certainly one of them.
So, yeah, I just laugh. Well, even now they show me just laughing my head off. Johnny Weir fell in a loch. I just fell apart laughing.
Yeah.
And I just love it. It's such, because it's like playing a character. It's like the biggest, best combination of like live theatre,
yes,
kind of like stand-up almost, because you're having to improvise, playing a character, being theatrical, and also it's on TV.
It's like a benevolent malevolence. You know what I mean? Like there's like you're like a playful villain.
Yeah, it's kind of like one of the contestants called me Castle Daddy.
Oh yeah.
And I like,
yeah.
that's right.
I wish I'd come up with that one. So, it's season 4. Congratulations. For those who are not familiar with the premise of Traitors,
yes,
how do you best explain it?
I preface it by saying it's like psychological torture.
Yeah.
A sort of sociological, psychological experiment in which I play this character of a sort of dandy Scottish laird who invites all these celebrities and reality stars to my castle in the country of Scotland, the Highlands of Scotland, whereupon I tap 3 of them on the shoulders. And they then are traitors, and they have to murder each night in a turret. Not literally, of course. Nobody actually gets it. And then they all, and everyone has to guess who the traitors are. And then they do these missions to raise money. And then they also, the best bit is when they're all round the round table and they have to banish. And it's just, well, my thing for it last year was it's Lord of the Flies with Botox.
Yeah.
And I'm like bringing these phrases
you
up
really
tonight.
are. That's like.
But it's just, it's hilarious, and I'm just so loving it.
I wonder if they, one of the reasons they thought you'd be perfect is it's so fun to hear Banish in a Scottish accent.
I love it. Banished. Banished. I love saying, I say, please, Seth, you have received the most votes and are banished. Yeah. Please come forward to the circle of truth. I love circle of truth. I made that up.
Oh, to have a circle of truth? I mean, everybody, I think, would enjoy a circle of truth. I mean, as long as you're not inside it. If you can, like, banish people inside it. Being in control of a circle of truth seems really nice.
I just keep thinking of circle jerk of truth. Sorry, just when you said that. Sorry. I'm so sorry.
I love that, that we're going to be like, whoa, wow, who can blame you, right? Who among us wasn't thinking the circle jerk of truth? Hey, before we were talking,
what?
What?
That'll be cut, will it? You can
No,
say,
we're leaving it in.
You can say circle jerk.
Well, you know what we've found on the show is we say whatever we want, and it turns out nobody's paying attention.
No, nobody's watching.
No. Yeah. Those circle jerks would love to watch the show. Hey, we mentioned your wonderful Scottish accent. Also, Happy New Year. I think we can still say it. We're still in January.
Yes.
Can you talk to me a lot? I'm fascinated by the Scottish New Year's tradition. Correct me if I'm saying it wrong. Hogmanay? Hogmanay.
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 Yeah.
Yeah, so that's what we call New Year's Eve, and it's like, because for a while, in like, I think the 18th century, Christmas was banned in Scotland because after the Reformation.
See, everything gets banished.
Yes, we love a banishment.
You banish.
We love banishment. Yeah. And so Christmas was banned, and so sort of New Year became the big thing. And even when Christmas was allowed again, New Year is a much bigger holiday in Scotland, actually. It's like, because it's sort of, well, two of Scotland's biggest sort of pastimes are drinking and over-sentimentality.
Yeah.
So that's exactly what New Year's about. It's just the perfect thing for us. So you do, like I had a party, I was here actually, I was in the Catskills, at my house there, but we had a Hogmanay party. And so there's certain things like you have to have a tall, dark stranger.
Okay.
So one of the people at your party, usually someone's +1.
Yeah.
Because they're a stranger. And they have to be sort of tall and dark. And they go outside and you give them a bottle of whiskey, a log or something. So a whiskey for, for drink, a log for the fire, and a cake or something for sustenance. And you send them outside. And it was freezing. It's freezing. So they're outside and they're wait before the bells. So they're waiting outside there so that they can be your first foot, the first person to cross your threshold.
Wow.
Yeah, so called a first foot. But the thing is, the bells go and everyone's kissing, and you always forget the person outside there. So they've probably got icicles hanging from their nose and everything.
Are they aware when they're the +1 to a party that they're going to have to go stand in the cold with a log?
No, but they're usually very keen because they think, I'm going to join in. They're very gung-ho. The next thing, they're freezing their balls off
Yeah, you're just
outside.
rolling them over to the fire.
And we also do this thing, you open the front door to let the new year in and you open the back door to let the old year out.
Oh, that's fantastic.
It's very sort of like, what's the word? Primal.
Yeah.
And we're very in touch with the land in Scotland.
Well, it's very good. One of these days, maybe you'll invite me to your Hogmanay.
Hogmanay.
Yeah. Congratulations. You won 2 Emmys for Traitors. Congratulations.
Of course. Yeah.
And then a little bit more lifetime achievement. You just got your star on the Hollywood Walk of
Yes,
Fame.
that's
Congratulations.
Look at me like a 6-kitten starlet there, lounging.
And you had your friend and colleague Brian Cox. He came and he spoke on your behalf.
On my behalf.
How many years when did you first meet Brian Cox? How
I
long
met him 40 years ago.
Wow.
He came to see me. I was just out of drama school and I was in a play, Tartuffe,
Okay.
by Molière, and I was in that in Edinburgh, and he came to see it. And yeah, that was 40 years ago.
That's fantastic.
So I've done a few things. Like we just done this movie together. He directed me in this movie called Glenrothan. We play brothers, brothers of a Scottish distillery dynasty, and that's coming out soon. And we'd also done Carpool Karaoke.
Oh, wow.
Together.
You did, the Apple version where,
Yeah, yes. And it's so hilarious because I got him to sing Wannabe by the Spice Girls.
Oh, that's good.
Very much against his will.
I think based on Logan Roy, there's an assumption that Brian is a gruff man in person. How was he as a director?
He was... there was some swearing. There was some
There was some
shouting.
cursing? Yeah,
there was some- It was actually a hilarious moment where he was having a sort of, kind of argument with the producer. And because we'd run over or something, they were talking, and we were doing a thing with a band when we're all sort of, playing and to a track. So we're saying, and we you, my man. And then it finished, and we're like, ah, ha, ha. And all we heard was Brian going, it is, I'm going to swear.
Okay, go for it.
It is monstrous. And we were like, what was not monstrous? Why did he say that? And it was about the fact that we'd run over and we didn't have enough time. He was saying it was monstrous.
Okay. Well,
So then I put that on. My gift for set gift was to everybody was a tote bag which said, "It is monstrous" on it.
a very nice gift. Very thoughtful gift.
That was the saying.
I have more to ask you. We'll be right back with more Alan right after this. Welcome back, everybody. We're here with Alan coming another time you worked with Brian Cox, X-Men.
That's right, and
Yeah.
I forgot that.
And for my money, X2 is still, they're all wonderful. This is my favorite of the X-Men movies.
It is a really good film.
It's a great movie.
Yeah,
You have one of my favorite action sequences in the
Pretty
film.
spectacular, yes.
And is there truth to the fact that you made me returning to the role?
Yes, I did it.
You already did it.
I'm doing it, so it comes out at Christmas. The Avengers Doomsday.
That's right. This is the early aughts. Has the technology changed to make the makeup less?
Well, no.
Okay.
I thought that, I won't have to wear makeup now. They'll just put it on in
Yeah, they'll just
post.
put a couple ping pongs on you.
Yeah, no, I had to wear the whole thing and contact lenses, the whole lot. But it was much shorter because the thing was with all these tattoos were painted on by hand because they hadn't decided on them till like the day before, so they didn't have So now they had stencils and things. So
Okay,
all
gotcha.
It was like an hour and a half to 2 hours rather than 5 hours.
Was it fun? Was it fun to return to it?
It was actually.
That's great.
I sort of. It was very, I never thought it was going to happen, and it was actually nice to go back to it and sort of sense of closure and things like that.
Oh
my God.
So that's closure. So this is, I guess, the whatever the opposite. This is the opening. This is your
Yes.
early days.
This was very early.
So this is Victor and Barry.
Yes.
We dug this up. Tell us about Victor and Barry. what they were doing.
This is my friend Forbes. We were at drama school together, and we made up these characters for a college cabaret. They're called Victor and Barry. They're founder members of the Kelvinside Young People's Amateur Dramatic Arts Society.
Yeah.
And they were like these sort of surreal characters who ran an amateur musical company in a posh area of Glasgow. And they just sang songs and were stupid. And they were just, and we made them, it was sort of a skit. You know when you like make something up and it's just, you're just a bit stoned and you're just having a funny idea. And then a couple of years later, when we left drama school, we had our own TV show. And
Really?
we had our own radio thing. We did tours, went to London and Australia. Yeah, in like the sort of mid-80s or late to late 80s. They were huge. It was overwhelming, actually. And we were just, you know, in that picture, I'm probably like 22 years old.
And so when you were out in the streets in Glasgow, you were like scream Victor and Barry, like it was
Totally.
that, oh wow.
And now, then like Victor and Barry, we stopped them. And then the next thing we did was a sitcom called The High Life about flight attendants.
Yeah, we have a photo of The High Life as well.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
So this was this was a sitcom.
Yes, I look fake tan and a lot of backcombing there. This was a sitcom on BBC Two. And so we did that. And The High Life, it was so popular, and we only did 6 episodes, and it was bonkers. And also, it was like we made it with BBC London, but because they didn't really know a lot of the things we were saying, we did some very rude Scottish things.
Okay.
So we got away with it. So people in Scotland were like, go on yourself. And so it's that, of all the things I've ever done in my life, that is, when I go to Scotland, that's the thing that people always mention.
Really? After your entire career, they still want to talk about The High Life?
And now we're doing, in about a month, I start rehearsals. We're 30 years after we did it, we've written a musical of The High Life, and the original cast are all in it. We're all still alive, yeah.
And so, like, I assume you were behind the idea of like doing it again. Like, were they so thrilled when the phone rang and you were like, "You're not going to believe this, but we're going to do this"?
Well, it's the National Theatre of Scotland. They'd asked us for like years.
Right.
We never got our act together, and then finally, there's a really great writer in Scotland called Johnny McKnight, and we brought him on as the catalyst, and he's brilliant. And if Victor and Barry and the High Life people had a baby, it would be Johnny. And so this was the perfect sort of fusion.
That's so exciting. And now you have a director capacity for the National Theatre, correct?
No, for Lochry Festival Theatre.
Okay, for the Lochry Festival Theatre. So this is, you are now a theatre director, theatre festival director.
I run the theatre. I'm the artistic director for the theatre. So this starts this weekend. I'm going to, right now, I'm literally leaving this chair and going on a plane to Lochry. And this is out in the hills. It's the first thing I've programmed. It's an LGBT festival.
That's fantastic.
And it starts on Friday.
All right. I have questions. You obviously go back and forth a lot. You're going straight from here. Will you go right to sleep on the plane? On a red eye I'm assuming you're going to Scotland? Are you flying direct?
Flying to Edinburgh. Yeah, no. I mean, here's the thing. Normally, I would have a couple of drinks and just knock myself out.
Yeah.
I'm not drinking. I'm having a little dry January.
Oh, okay.
So I don't know.
Everybody look at their shocked.
I know. Everyone's like, what's wrong? What's wrong with you, Alan? Are you okay? Are there medical reasons? That's what everyone keeps saying. No, I'm just decided to have you know, once in a while, see if I can still do it. And but no, I might take half a sleeping pill.
Okay.
Because it's only 6 and a bit
That's
hours.
the problem with it. It's
you
not
don't want
long
to be
enough.
zonked getting up, and I've got to rehearse tomorrow morning in Scotland.
Have you ever watched a movie on a plane that you're in?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I have.
Do you feel like you've ever been observed by other people on the plane watching yourself on a movie?
Have you got a photo of that or something?
No, I don't.
I mean, it's sort of awful, like, you know, if you think that people might see you, you just hope they're all asleep. But I hope not. I mean, I probably have, but I mean, certainly people have sort of come up and tapped me, like saying, yeah. And I remember once I was going to Mauritius, and so they speak French there, and there was a thing where it had the film in English and the film in French. And actually, it was Black Beauty, where I narrate the horse. Yeah. So I could go between the two films, and hear myself talking like this, and then, je parle comme ça. It was so surreal. Like someone impersonating me in another language.
Yeah. That's where you really hope you didn't just take the sleeping pill, or else you're like, I'm losing my mind.
You've heard all those stories of people taking sleeping pills and ending up with like just champagne bottles and potato chip wrappers all over.
Yeah.
I'm very scared of that.
Well, I think you'll be okay.
I mean, yeah, and also,
you're a national treasure.
I'm a national treasure. They'll just bundle me in a sack and take me off.
Congrats on another season of The Traitors. Congrats on everything.
Seth.
Thanks for
So
being back.
nice
You guys
to be
now
back.
new episodes of The Traitors stream Thursdays on Peacock. We'll be right back with Ali Larder.